Welcome back to Worldview TV, where we explore countries, cities, and cultures around the world. And today we're diving deep into the American state that's rewriting the rules of economic power, population growth, and cultural influence. One American state has become so economically powerful, so influential, and so dominant that it rivals entire nations. Not California with Silicon Valley. Not New York with Wall Street. Not Florida with its tourism empire. This is Texas. But before we begin this incredible journey through Texas's dominance, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification for more explorative contents. Now let's talk about why Texas has become the undisputed powerhouse of the United States. Over the next 30 minutes, we're exploring 5 massive dimensions of Texas power: economic dominance, energy supremacy, business magnetism, demographic boom, and cultural influence. Each dimension alone would make Texas notable. Together, they make Texas unstoppable. So buckle up, because we're about to discover why Texas isn't just big, it's genuinely the most powerful state in America, and the gap is widening every single year. Let me start with a number that should make you pause and really think. $2.77 trillion. That's the size of the Texas economy as of 2024. If Texas were an independent country, which it actually was from 1836 to 1845 as the Republic of Texas, it would be the 8th largest economy on planet Earth. Not 8th in North America. Not 8th among developed nations. 8th globally. One American state has an economy larger than Canada, South Korea, Russia, Spain, Australia, and Brazil. Texas produces more economic output than countries with hundreds of millions of people. That alone is staggering, but here's what makes it even more impressive: the trajectory. It's not just about where you are, it's about where you're going and how fast you're getting there. In the second quarter of 2025, Texas's real GDP expanded at an annual rate of 6.8%, compared to the U.S. national rate of 3.8%. Texas is growing at nearly double the national pace. Over the past 5 years, Texas has averaged annual GDP growth of around 5.8%. California, despite having a larger total economy at about $4.1 trillion, has averaged only about 1.7% growth. Texas is growing more than 3 times faster than California. At this trajectory, if both states maintain their current growth rates, Texas could actually surpass California's total economic output within 10 to 15 years. We could be witnessing a historic shift in American economic geography happening in real time. But raw size and growth tell only part of the story. Let's talk about what reveals true global economic power: exports. Texas has been the #1 exporting state in America for 23 consecutive years. 23 straight years of export dominance. As of 2023, Texas exported more than $440 billion worth of goods annually to countries around the world. California, with its larger economy, exported $178 billion. Think about that for a moment. Texas exports more than double what California exports. How is this even possible? Because Texas produces things the entire world desperately wants and needs. Semiconductors. Texas is the top exporting state for 14 consecutive years. Technology products #1 for 12 straight years. Energy products, chemicals, aerospace components, machinery, medical equipment. Texas makes it, and the global market consumes it voraciously. Mexico is Texas's largest export partner, receiving nearly $130 billion worth of goods in 2023. Texas added 195,600 jobs over the last 12 months alone, outpacing the national job growth rate significantly. The state reached a historic high for total employment at 15,857,300 Texans working. That's nearly 16 million people gainfully employed across an incredibly diverse range of industries. The Texas workforce is now more than 15.78 million people, making it one of the youngest, most diverse, and fastest-growing workforces in the United States. A young workforce means decades of innovation potential and productive economic activity ahead. But here's what truly demonstrates economic sophistication and resilience: diversity. In 2025, Texas is home to 54 Fortune 500 company headquarters, more than any other state. These aren't small regional businesses. These are the largest, most sophisticated, best-managed corporations in America. ExxonMobil, T. McKesson, Dell Technologies, American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Texas Instruments, Energy Transfer, Cisco, and dozens more spanning every major industry have chosen Texas as their command center. Houston alone hosts 26 Fortune 500 headquarters, ranking third nationally behind only New York and Chicago. Dallas-Fort Worth has 21 Fortune 500 companies. These cities aren't just participating in the American economy, they're commanding it, making billion-dollar decisions daily that ripple across global markets. And the entrepreneurial energy is off the charts. The state added 125,000 new business entities in 2024, bringing the total to nearly 2.93 million businesses operating in Texas. That's almost double the number from just a decade ago. When you nearly double your business population in 10 years while maintaining strong economic growth and job creation, you're not just succeeding, you're creating an entirely new economic ecosystem that feeds on itself and accelerates. The economic story is crystal clear. Texas has built a $2.77 trillion economy growing at 6.8% annually, exports more than any other state by a massive margin, employs nearly 16 million people across incredibly diverse industries, maintains economic resilience through smart diversification, attracts more Fortune 500 headquarters than anywhere else, and generates new businesses at a pace that rivals startup hubs. Texas generates 131,000 gigawatt-hours of wind energy annually, making it America's undisputed wind power champion. Texas has 32,000 megawatts of wind generation capacity, representing 28% of all U.S. wind power production. Wind energy surpassed nuclear power production in Texas back in 2014, and the gap has widened every single year since. Drive across West Texas and you'll see thousands of massive wind turbines spinning on the horizon as far as you can see, a testament to Texas embracing energy diversification and innovation while maintaining its fossil fuel dominance. Solar energy is expanding rapidly as well, with Texas ranking second nationally in utility-scale solar development. New solar farms covering thousands of acres are being built across Texas, particularly in West Texas and the Rio Grande Valley, where sunshine is abundant year-round and land is readily available at reasonable prices. Texas dominates fossil fuel production and leads in renewable energy development simultaneously. Regardless of which direction national or global energy policy moves over the next 20 or 30 years, whether toward continued fossil fuel use, gradual transition, or rapid shift to renewables, Texas wins either way. The Texas business climate has been ranked number 1 in the United States by Site Selection magazine for the second consecutive year. These aren't paid endorsements or tourism board propaganda, these are independent assessments by respected organizations analyzing hard data from thousands of businesses across every sector. What specifically makes Texas so magnetic to businesses of all sizes? Let's break down the factors that drive corporate decision-making at the highest levels. First, taxation. Texas has no state income tax, not for individuals, not for corporations, not for anyone. This single fact fundamentally changes the entire economic equation. Businesses save money from day one. Employees take home more of their paychecks to spend in the local economy. Entrepreneurs keep more profits to reinvest in growth and expansion. The psychological impact is enormous. People and businesses feel less burdened and more optimistic about taking risks and investing in their future. Yes, Texas has property taxes and sales taxes that fund state services and infrastructure. But the total tax burden remains highly competitive with other major states, and the simplicity of no income tax paperwork saves enormous time and money. Second, cost of living and operational expenses. An October 2022 Commerce Department study found that Texas's average cost of living was just over $45,000 annually, roughly $8,000 lower than California and New York. Housing costs, while rising due to explosive growth, remain dramatically lower than coastal states. Office space costs a fraction of Manhattan or San Francisco prices. Warehouse and distribution space is abundant and affordable. Land for future expansion is available at reasonable prices rather than astronomical coastal real estate values. For businesses, lower costs mean either higher profit margins or the ability to price products more competitively in the market. For employees, lower living costs mean salaries go much further, quality of life improves dramatically, and homeownership becomes an achievable goal rather than an impossible dream. This creates a virtuous cycle where businesses can attract talent with reasonable salaries that provide excellent quality of life. Third, world-class infrastructure. Air Cargo World rated Dallas, Fort Worth International Airport as the best air cargo airport in the entire world. The Port of Houston is America's busiest port by tonnage, handling over 250 million tons of cargo annually and ranking first in the United States for foreign waterborne tonnage. Texas delivers genuinely world-class infrastructure that enables businesses to operate at peak efficiency. Texas is home to 16 Tier 1 research universities producing nearly 370,000 graduates annually who enter the Texas economy with fresh skills and knowledge. The University of Texas at Austin consistently ranks among America's top public universities, particularly for engineering, business, and computer science. Texas A&M University is another research powerhouse with particular strength in engineering and agriculture. Rice University in Houston is one of America's most prestigious private universities. These institutions aren't just educating Texans, they're attracting top talent from around the world. International students come to Texas universities, fall in love with Texas cities, and often stay after graduation to launch careers. Over 4 million Texans participate in education and upskilling programs annually through community colleges, technical training, professional development, and continuing education. Businesses locating in Texas find the talent they need either already available or graduating every semester from world-class institutions. Fifth, geographic and strategic advantages. Texas's central location within the United States makes it an ideal logistics and distribution hub. A business based in Dallas can reach 40% of the entire U.S. population within a single day's truck drive. Access to both Mexican and Canadian markets through efficient transportation corridors is excellent. Gulf Coast deep water ports provide direct shipping routes to Europe, South America, Africa, and Asia. Time zones matter more than most people realize. Texas operates in Central Time, just 1 hour behind the East Coast and 2 hours ahead of the West Coast. Conference calls spanning both coasts are completely manageable. International business with Latin America is seamless with overlapping business hours. Even European business hours have reasonable overlap with Texas mornings for early calls. The proof of Texas's business climate success is visible in corporate relocations and major expansions. In recent years, prominent corporations have moved headquarters or significantly expanded operations in Texas. Tesla relocated its headquarters from Palo Alto, California to Austin. Oracle moved from Silicon Valley to Austin. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise left California for the Houston area. CBRE Group, one of the world's largest commercial real estate firms, moved its headquarters to Dallas. Charles Schwab relocated from San Francisco to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. These aren't small companies making emotional decisions based on a CEO's personal preference. These are sophisticated, analyst-driven, shareholder-focused corporations worth tens of billions of dollars, and they chose Texas after exhaustive evaluation of costs, talent availability, infrastructure quality, growth potential, regulatory environment, and overall business climate. The technology sector deserves special emphasis. While Silicon Valley obviously remains critically important to American tech, Texas is rapidly emerging as America's second technology hub with some unique advantages. Apple is building a massive campus in Austin with space for 15,000 employees. Google, Meta, Amazon, and other tech giants have expanded significantly in Austin, Dallas, and Houston. Tesla's Gigafactory outside Austin is one of the company's largest and most advanced manufacturing facilities globally. But perhaps most dramatically symbolic of shifting business power, in 2025, the New York Stock Exchange announced plans for NYSE Texas, a new fully electronic exchange to be headquartered in Dallas. Additionally, the Texas Stock Exchange officially launched in Dallas, backed by major institutional investors including BlackRock, Citadel Securities, and Charles Schwab. The New York Stock Exchange, literally named after New York City, is establishing major operations in Texas because that's where growth, innovation, dynamism, and business energy are increasingly concentrated. This represents billions in investment capital and fundamentally signals that American financial markets are evolving beyond their traditional coastal concentration. Texas also offers something that's become increasingly rare and valuable: space and room to grow. Every single day, approximately 1,000 people move to Texas. That's not an exaggeration. About 1,000 people daily decide Texas is where they want to build their future. Where are all these people coming from? Everywhere. California has experienced net population loss for the first time in its recorded history, with hundreds of thousands of former California residents choosing Texas as their new home. New York continues losing residents steadily, with Texas consistently ranking as a top destination. Illinois experiences sustained population decline, with many choosing Texas for opportunities and lower costs. Even Florida, itself a major growth state, sees some residents relocating to Texas for job opportunities in specific industries. Why are people choosing Texas in such overwhelming numbers? The reasons reveal everything about what Americans value in the 2020s and what they're seeking for their families' futures. First and most fundamentally, economic opportunity. Jobs exist in Texas in both abundance and variety. The unemployment rate consistently runs below the national average. Career advancement opportunities exist across multiple industries and sectors. You can switch career paths without relocating to another state. Professional networks form and expand naturally in growing cities. When people can find employment that matches their education, skills, and career ambitions, they move to where those opportunities exist. Second, affordability despite rapid growth. Yes, Texas housing costs have risen significantly in hot markets like Austin, but they remain dramatically and significantly lower than California, New York, Boston, Seattle, or other coastal metropolitan areas. A house that costs $1.5 million in San Francisco or $900,000 in Brooklyn costs $400,000, $500,000 in Dallas or Houston for comparable size and quality. A middle-class lifestyle requiring $150,000 annual income in Los Angeles or San Francisco requires perhaps $70,000, $85,000 in San Antonio or Fort Worth. Texas's lack of state income tax means take-home pay stretches further for everyday expenses. A $100,000 salary in California leaves about $88,000 after state income taxes are deducted. That same $100,000 salary in Texas leaves the full amount minus only federal taxes. Over the course of a career, that difference compounds into hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional savings and investment. Third, space and genuine quality of life. Texas offers what crowded, expensive coastal states simply cannot provide anymore: room. You can own a home with a yard where children can play safely outdoors. You can experience the traditional American dream of homeownership that feels completely impossible to young families in San Francisco, Seattle, New York, or Boston. Traffic exists, certainly, especially during rush hours, but a 25-30-minute commute in Houston or Dallas is typical rather than the 90-minute nightmare that's become normal in Los Angeles, the San Francisco Bay Area, or New York Metro. People want to spend time with family, pursuing hobbies, and enjoying life rather than sitting in soul-crushing gridlock for hours daily. Fourth, climate and outdoor lifestyle. Yes, Texas summers are hot, brutally, oppressively hot in July and August. But year-round outdoor activity is genuinely possible. No winter heating bills that drain family budgets. Swimming pools are usable 8-9 months yearly rather than just summer. Gardens can grow nearly year-round. For people from cold climates enduring harsh winters, Texas winters feel like absolute paradise. Texas cities are remarkably, wonderfully diverse. Houston is consistently ranked as one of America's most ethnically diverse metropolitan areas, with significant Hispanic, African American, Asian American, and white populations. Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio are similarly diverse with vibrant international communities. This diversity attracts people from around the world who find communities, cultures, foods, and traditions they recognize and value. The education pipeline deserves strong emphasis. Texas is home to 16 Tier 1 research universities producing nearly 370,000 graduates annually who very often choose to stay in Texas rather than leave for opportunities elsewhere. When you educate someone for 4 years in a place that's affordable, growing, full of opportunity, and welcoming, they tend to put down roots, buy homes, start families, launch businesses, and contribute to continued growth. The multiplier effect, the powerful network effect of growth, is absolutely crucial to understanding Texas's demographic momentum. As more people move to Texas, Texas becomes even more attractive to others in an accelerating spiral. Tech workers move to Austin and create an ecosystem that attracts tech companies. Those companies hire more tech workers who move to Austin. Restaurants open to serve the growing population. Entertainment venues expand their offerings. Cultural institutions grow and improve. Quality of life rises, attracting more people, which further improves quality of life. It's a virtuous cycle that feeds on itself and accelerates exponentially. Different regions of Texas attract different populations based on their unique characteristics. Austin draws tech workers, artists, musicians, creative professionals, and young people seeking a hip, vibrant, slightly quirky city culture. Houston attracts energy industry professionals, medical professionals. Texas Medical Center is the world's largest medical complex, engineers, and international immigrants from around the globe. Dallas draws corporate executives, financial professionals, entrepreneurs, and logistics professionals. San Antonio appeals to military families, retirees, and those seeking authentic Texas culture at more affordable prices. Fort Worth attracts people wanting traditional Texas culture with somewhat lower costs than Dallas. This geographic diversity within Texas means population growth distributes across the state rather than concentrating entirely in one massive megacity. Multiple metropolitan areas are booming simultaneously, which distributes growth's benefits and challenges more broadly across regions. Young families drive much of this migration. They're actively seeking affordable housing where they can actually own rather than rent forever, good schools for their children, safe neighborhoods, career opportunities with growth potential, and reasonable cost of living. The official state tourism slogan is literally, Texas, it's like a whole other country, and this reflects both marketing and genuine perception. Texas was the Republic of Texas from 1836 to 1845, an independent nation with its own currency, military, diplomatic relations with other countries, and its own flag that still flies prominently today. That relatively brief period of sovereignty has infused Texan identity with a confidence and pride that sometimes borders on swagger and occasionally crosses that line completely unapologetically. Texans are famously proud people. They fly Texas flags alongside American flags, often equally large or sometimes even larger. They tell you they're from Texas within the first few minutes of meeting you. Confidence born directly from sustained, measurable, undeniable success. Texas works. Its economy grows faster than the nation. Its population increases dramatically. Its businesses thrive and expand. Why wouldn't Texans be proud of these achievements? This cultural confidence is itself a real form of soft power that generates tangible results. People naturally want to associate with success and winning. Businesses want to locate where there's optimism and forward-looking energy rather than pessimism and decline. Talented individuals want to move to places where they feel welcomed, valued, and part of something bigger than themselves. Texas projects confidence, optimism, and welcome in equal measure, and this cultural projection pays enormous dividends in attracting people, businesses, and investment capital. Entertainment and music amplify Texas's cultural reach far beyond state borders. Austin legitimately calls itself the live music capital of the world, and hosts over 250 music venues ranging from tiny clubs to massive amphitheaters. Musicians, filmmakers, tech entrepreneurs, and cultural innovators from every continent converge on Austin each March, creating global connections and amplifying Texas's cultural influence. Texas music has profoundly shaped American musical sound across multiple generations and diverse genres. Country music legends like George Strait, Willie Nelson, and Waylon Jennings are all Texans. Rock and roll pioneers like Buddy Holly came from Texas. Hip-hop superstar Beyoncé is from Houston. Sports create powerful identity and community at massive scale. Texas takes sports more seriously than perhaps any other state. Higher education and research institutions contribute substantially to intellectual and cultural influence beyond Texas borders. One research universities produce not just graduates who enter the workforce but cutting-edge research that shapes national and global conversations. Perhaps most fundamentally, Texas projects genuine optimism. In an America that often seems consumed by negativity, division, pessimism, and decline, Texas maintains a fundamental belief that tomorrow can and will be better. 7 dimensions of power that prove Texas isn't just growing, it's dominating. A $2.77 trillion economy growing at 6.8% annually. Energy production that literally powers America and exports to the world. Political influence reshaping congressional representation and national party strategies. Population growth adding hundreds of thousands yearly while other states shrink. A business climate attracting Fortune 500 headquarters away from coastal states. Cultural identity and brand recognition that rivals entire nations. Strategic military and aerospace importance that makes Texas essential to national security. This isn't Texas pride talking, this is measurable, quantifiable reality. Texas has positioned itself to dominate 21st century America through calculated policy choices, strategic advantages, and sustained execution over decades. Does this mean Texas is perfect? Absolutely not. The state faces real challenges. Housing affordability is declining as growth accelerates. Educational funding lags behind national averages despite improvements. Healthcare access remains uneven with the highest uninsured rate in America, and infrastructure struggles to keep pace with population growth. Texas's economic growth hasn't eliminated poverty or financial insecurity for many residents. Small businesses face challenges even as large corporations thrive. Subscribe to Worldview TV if you haven't already. We explore countries, cities, and cultures every single week with the same depth and analysis you just experienced. Until next time, keep exploring.